Imagine your sales team is about to close $1 million enterprise deal.
Oh, boy.
Right. The contract is ready. The relationship has been nurtured for like 6 months.
Right.
And your lead rep hits send on the final proposal.
Okay, sounds good so far.
But they don't send it to John Smith, the CEO. They accidentally send it to John Smith, a summer intern who downloaded a white paper like 3 years ago.
Oh, no. Oh, that is brutal.
Yeah, because your database thinks they're the exact same person.
Right.
And that scenario, I mean, it is playing out in companies every single day. So today, we are tearing into a stack of sources focused on customer data management.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're looking at the back-end infrastructure that prevents a growing business from turning into just a chaotic digital landfill.
Yeah, and that million-dollar mistake you just mentioned, it's the ultimate symptom of a structural bottleneck because we are analyzing a comprehensive set of engineering and management principles today, and they're designed for the people running the machine.
Right, the operators.
Exactly. Sales operations, revenue operations, system admins. And if you aren't familiar with those titles, revenue operations, or RevOps, is essentially the department responsible for making sure marketing and sales and customer service are actually talking to each other.
Right.
And that they're using the same math.
Which is a massive job when a company starts scaling.
Yeah.
Because the core premise of our sources for this deep dive is that you simply cannot grow a business if you don't even know with absolute certainty who you were talking to.
Exactly. You're flying blind.
Right. So we are going to explore how to build a system that prevents this data chaos. And the very first step in that process is what we might call the gatekeeper strategy.
I like that.
Yeah, it's all about establishing incredibly strict boundaries right at the point where a piece of information tries to enter your system.
Yeah, and the foundational rule from the text is just uncompromising on this. It's one customer, one record, no exceptions.
No exceptions.
None. The goal is a singular, unified view of the customer. Because if marketing is looking at one profile for a client, and then sales is looking at a completely different profile for that exact same client, your company has fractured reality.
Oh, wow. Fractured reality. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't track the health of a relationship if the data about that relationship is split across 3 different duplicate files.
It's like entering data into a database should really be treated like letting people into an extremely exclusive nightclub.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
You know, you don't just leave the doors open and hope for the best. The sources emphasize setting up duplicate detection at the point of entry. It's like having a highly trained, very strict bouncer right at the front door checking IDs.
Right.
If a customer's already in the club, the bouncer stops the clone from walking in.
Wandering around a dark, crowded dance floor trying to spot clones to kick out is what most companies do when they try to clean their data retroactively, and it is a massive waste of resources.
Oh, I can imagine.
The most effective way to handle bad data is validation before it ever hits the save button. The system must physically block a user from creating a mess.
Stop the bad data before it crosses the threshold.
Exactly.
And the sources get very tactical about how you actually arm this bouncer. It starts with enforcing required fields.
Right.
So if a piece of information, like an email address or a company website, is essential for your business to function, the software simply should not allow a sales rep to save the profile without it.
Yeah, and beyond just requiring the fields, you have to control how the information is entered. The text highlights a critical shift here.
Sure.
You have to move away from free text inputs and rely entirely on standardized pick lists or drop-down menus.
Oh, man. Let's talk about the nightmare of free text inputs for a second.
It is a nightmare.
Because if you leave a blank text box and ask 10 different salespeople to type in the country name for the United States,
oh, yeah, you're going to get everything.
You are going to get USA, US, United States, America, and probably a couple of typos like untied states.
Untied states, exactly. I've seen that one in the wild.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
And down the line, when your marketing team tries to pull a list of all American clients for a campaign, the system is going to miss half of them.
Right.
Because it thinks you are operating in 5 different countries.
That tiny bit of freedom at the point of entry completely breaks your automated routing rules and your reporting. Standardized drop-down menus eliminate that friction entirely. But a gatekeeper isn't just about the initial entry. It's about constant vigilance. The source advocates for setting up real-time workflow triggers.
Yeah, I found this mechanism really fascinating. Because instead of waiting for a quarterly audit to reveal that, 100 new accounts were somehow created without an industry attached.
Which happens all the time.
Right. You build a tripwire. If a record sneaks through with missing or conflicting data, the system automatically fires a Slack message or an email alert to the admin team within minutes.
Yeah.
It's a smoke detector going off while the fire is still small, long before it burns down your quarterly revenue report.
And those proactive alerts change the entire dynamic of system administration.
Right.
You catch the anomaly the moment it happens. But, having pristine, perfectly verified data sitting in a vault is only half the battle.
Sure.
A flawless list of names doesn't generate revenue on its own.
No, it's just a very tidy digital paperweight at that point.
Exactly.
So the bouncer did their job. The nightclub is full of verified, well-documented guests. But now we have a new problem. How do we know who belongs in the VIP section and who is just standing by the bar?
Right.
And this is where the source transitions from just storing data to actually activating it through segmentation.
Yeah, and the text is brutally honest here. Unsegmented database information is almost impossible to use effectively.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if a sales rep logs in and just sees a list of 10,000 names, they are paralyzed.
Overwhelmed.
So the solution is moving away from static, manual list building and implementing dynamic segments.
Let's break down the difference there, because I remember the days of exporting a massive CSV file from a database, filtering it in Excel, and uploading it to a marketing tool.
Oh, the old export-import dance.
Yes, and the second you upload that list, it is already out of date.
Yep.
If someone changes jobs the next day, your static list doesn't know that. But dynamic segments are constantly listening to the data and updating in real time based on the criteria you set.
Right, and the most powerful dynamic segments combine two very different types of information.
Okay, what are they?
Well, first you have firmographic data.
It's firmographic. Okay.
Yeah, which are the basic static attributes like geographic region, industry, or company size. But you have to layer that with behavioral signals.
Behavioral.
The actions the customer is actively taking, like opening emails, logging into your software, or visiting specific web pages.
The example from the text really crystallized this concept for me. Picture two different chief financial officers. Both work as software as a service companies with exactly 500 employees. On paper, if you are only looking at firmographic data, their profiles are identical. They look like the exact same target.
But their behavior tells a completely different story.
A vastly different story. One of these CFOs was just clicking around on your pricing page like 10 minutes ago, maybe downloading a case study.
Yeah.
The other CFO hasn't opened an email from your company in 2 years and has never visited the website.
Right.
If your sales team reaches out to both of them with the exact same generic cold calling pitch, you are throwing money out the window.
Oh, absolutely.
The CFO on the pricing page is showing high intent. Dynamic segmentation ensures that the second they look at the prices, they automatically drop into a high-priority, hot lead list for a sales rep to call immediately.
And that combination of identity and behavior is incredibly potent. But to execute that, to have website behavioral data seamlessly updating your core customer database, you have to connect multiple software applications.
Yeah.
So the source mandates setting up two-way data syncing across your entire tech stack to maintain a single source of truth.
Okay, I have to pause you right here.
Oh.
Because when I read the section on two-way syncing, I immediately had a panic attack on behalf of our metaphorical bouncer.
Oh, I see.
Right. We just spent all this time building strict rules, required fields, and validations to keep our central database perfectly clean.
Yep.
If we suddenly open the pipes and set up automated two-way flows with a marketing platform, a separate sales outreach tool, and a billing software, I mean, aren't we just risking corrupting our pristine system?
It sounds scary.
If a rep enters garbage data into the sales app, doesn't two-way sync just automatically pump that garbage straight past the bouncer into the main database?
Yeah, so that is a highly common fear for anyone managing architecture, but you have to look at the mechanical safeguards.
Okay.
Modern two-way sync doesn't just blindly overwrite data. It relies on a master system hierarchy and timestamping.
Master system hierarchy.
Right. You designate your core CRM as the ultimate system of record. So if there is a conflict, the sync logic looks at which update is the most recent, checks if the new data passes those strict validation rules we set up earlier, and only then does it allow the update.
Okay. So the bouncer is still checking IDs, even if the person is coming in through the side door from a different app.
Exactly that. The rules apply everywhere. And the source argues that you must take this perceived risk because the alternative is catastrophic.
Wow.
If you don't sync data in both directions, you fall victim to a phenomenon called silent data drift.
Silent data drift. Walk me through the actual mechanics of how that destroys a company from the inside.
Well, it happens slowly, one minor update at a time. So imagine a sales rep is working in a specialized email outreach tool. They notice a client recently got promoted to vice president, so they update the job title in that specific tool.
Makes sense.
But because there is no two-way sync, that promotion doesn't flow back to the central database.
Oh, I see.
A month later, a different rep looks at the central database, calls the client, and refers to them by their old, lower-level title.
Ouch.
Yeah, the client feels undervalued, the deal stalls, and the rep realizes the central system is wrong.
And once a sales rep loses trust in the main system, they abandon it entirely.
Exactly.
They start keeping their own secret spreadsheets on their desktop.
Oh yeah, the fragmentation of truth.
Right.
Suddenly you have 10 different versions of reality floating around the company. Marketing is emailing the wrong people, sales is flying blind, and leadership is looking at reports based on outdated information.
What a mess.
So two-way sync, protected by validation rules, guarantees that an update in one peripheral app automatically corrects the record everywhere. It prevents silent data drift and preserves the team's confidence in the system.
Okay, that makes sense. The safety mechanisms protect the sync. But this brings us to a massive operational wall. We have strict entry rules, dynamic segments updating in real time, behavioral tracking, and data syncing back and forth across 5 different platforms.
Yeah.
Once a business hits a certain growth velocity, the sheer volume of these operations exceeds human capacity.
Right.
I mean, a team of human admins simply cannot manually read every meeting note or track every website visit.
You hit the ceiling of human scale,
Hmm.
which is why the source transitions to the necessity of artificial intelligence.
Here we go.
And we aren't talking about generative AI writing emails or writing poetry. We are talking about analytical AI doing the heavy lifting of unstructured data hygiene.
And this is where the mechanics get really fascinating, because the source lists all these things AI can handle: updating job titles, mapping out parent-child company structures, synthesizing call histories. But how does it actually do that? Let's take meeting notes as an example.
So the leap from unstructured data to structured data is the real magic here. Historically, a sales rep has a 30-minute Zoom call, and they type a messy paragraph of notes into the system.
Like, client is frustrated with budget, wants to delay the purchase to Q3, also mentioned they just acquired a new subsidiary.
Exactly. For a human, that's easy to read, but for a database, it's just a block of dead text.
It doesn't trigger any of our dynamic segments or automations.
Precisely. But an AI tool reads that unstructured paragraph, identifies the core intent, and translates it into structured data.
Wow.
It automatically goes into the system and changes the deal stage drop-down menu from negotiation to delayed. It pushes the expected close date field back to October, and it flags an alert to the admin team that a new parent-child company structure needs to be mapped because of the subsidiary acquisition.
And just to clarify for the listener, mapping a parent-child structure is crucial. Like, if you are selling software to YouTube, your system needs to understand that YouTube is a child company of Google.
Right.
Otherwise, your sales reps might accidentally pitch 2 different divisions of the same massive corporation without realizing it, which makes your company look incredibly unprofessional.
And AI handles that relational mapping automatically by analyzing the data context. It performs thousands of these unstructured structured translations a day.
But there is a massive trap here.
Oh, yeah.
The sources issue a severe warning about turning on AI features before you are ready.
Hmm.
I was trying to visualize this.
Yeah.
The best way to understand it is thinking about a GPS navigation system.
Okay, how so?
Using AI on a messy, unorganized database is like using a highly advanced GPS system that has the wrong map loaded into it.
Oh, I love that. It's going to give you terrible directions very confidently.
It will route you straight into a lake, and it will do it with incredible efficiency.
Right.
AI doesn't possess human common sense. It is a pattern recognition engine. It amplifies whatever is already there. So if you have done the hard work of building a clean baseline, the AI will learn those good patterns and make your system infinitely more powerful. But if your database is full of duplicates, conflicting information, and messy free text fields, the AI will learn those bad patterns. It will confidently automate errors at 1 million operations a second, turning a manageable human mess into a deeply complex algorithmic disaster.
Yeah, you have to manually clean the house before you buy the robot vacuum.
That's a great way to say it.
And this leads to a fascinating paradox that the source outlines for surviving massive growth. As you scale and as you add AI and automations, the temptation is to make the system more complex. But the ultimate rule for data management is the exact opposite. You must intentionally engineer simplicity.
The scale paradox. Keep it simple. And the text lays out 3 specific engineering principles to maintain that simplicity. Principle number 1 is merging overlapping fields.
And this is a classic symptom of unchecked growth. Over time, different departments ask for different things. Suddenly, you have a field for industry on the individual contact level, another field called sector on the company profile, and a third field called business type attached to the revenue deal.
Oh man, think about the friction that creates for a sales rep. They are trying to quickly log a new deal, and they have to fill out 3 different drop-down menus that all essentially ask the same question.
It's maddening.
It really is. The principle here is ruthless consolidation. You should only ever have one single industry field that everyone uses.
Reduce the friction,
Right.
which connects to principle number 2. Sync only the truly necessary fields.
Right.
Just because we have two-way sync enabled between all our apps doesn't mean we need to blast every single data point to every single team. The marketing department does not need to see the highly technical 50-page onboarding logs from the software engineers.
Keep the noise down so people can actually focus on their jobs.
Yeah.
But principle number 3 is where I have to push back a little.
Okay, let's hear it.
The source demands that you rigorously document all workflows and automations. Honestly, in a rapidly scaling startup where everyone is working 80 hours a week, if I tell my VP of sales that we need to stop selling for 3 days so the operations team can write technical documentation about drop-down menus,
Yeah.
I am going to get fired. Doesn't that level of bureaucracy slow down the exact growth we are trying to achieve?
It feels like a slowdown in the moment, for sure.
Yeah.
But you have to look at the long-term risk. What happens if the incredibly complex logic behind your dynamic segments and your real-time triggers only exists in the brain of one senior admin?
Oh, and then that admin gets poached by a competitor.
Exactly. Your entire revenue engine becomes a black box. A trigger fires, a lead gets routed to the wrong territory, and nobody left in the company knows why the system did it.
Right.
You are completely paralyzed, you can't fix it, and you can't build on top of it.
Mm.
Documenting the workflows is how you maintain the standard. It ensures that the newest hire on day 1 can understand the architecture just as well as the veteran who built it.
Yeah.
You have to slow down temporarily to speed up permanently.
Okay, I can see the point. You can't scale a black box. And to wrap up this idea of simplicity, there is a mindset shift from the text that completely changes how you view a database.
Mm-hmm.
It's the concept of treating your CRM's underlying structure as if it were its own standalone software product.
Yeah, and a database is usually viewed as a passive bucket. We just throw data in and hope it stays organized. But a product manager mindset forces discipline. A great software product doesn't just add every single feature a user requests, it maintains a clear vision and an elegant design.
Right, because if a mid-level sales manager comes to the admin team and says, hey, I really need a custom checkbox field to track which of my clients like playing golf, the instinct is just to build it to make them happy.
Sure. But a product manager asks the hard questions. Does this serve the overall system? Will anyone be using this checkbox in a year? Or is this just aimless expansion? Because aimless expansion is the silent killer of clean systems. It atterrays how a pristine architecture slowly degrades back into a chaotic data graveyard.
So bringing this all back to the listener, why does this matter if you aren't running RevOps for a massive tech company? Whether you are managing the back end for a global enterprise, or you are a solo freelancer just trying to keep your personal client network organized in a Notion template, the underlying physics of data remain the same.
Absolutely.
Bad data management compounds. If you don't act as a strict bouncer at the door, if you don't rely on dynamic segments, and if you let overlapping fields clutter your system, your data becomes a liability instead of an asset.
Yeah.
But if you protect the simplicity of your architecture, you transform raw information into a living ecosystem that actually drives growth.
It is the defining difference between surviving a period of rapid growth and being crushed under the weight of it.
Wow.
And if we connect this back to that final concept, treating your database structure as a carefully designed product, it leaves us with a profound implication about the future of work.
Lay it on us.
If we are designing this system like a software product, we have to seriously ask ourselves, who is the actual user of this product in the future?
Oh, wow.
Because for 30 years, we built databases for human sales teams to read. We optimized the screens for human eyes. But as we rely more and more on AI to clean the data, execute the syncing, and parse the unstructured behavioral signals at a speed we can't comprehend, are we really designing these systems for humans anymore?
That's a great question.
Or as we meticulously structure these required fields and enforce these rigid guidelines, are we secretly just organizing the perfect food for our algorithms?
Are we building a tool for our sales reps? Or are we building a brain for our AI? That is a wild thought to walk away with, because if the algorithm is the true user of the foundation we are building, you can't just slap a few spreadsheets together anymore.
No, you can't.
You have to build a digital metropolis. Something to think about the next time you are tempted to leave a free text input box on a form.
Keep the bouncer at the door, everyone!